What do you recommend? Burrow burger?
Yeah. When are you going to start training, Kev?
I'm in training.
Are you?
Yeah.
How many people are part of the team and training?
So running, myself, David, Chris. Bikes, Daryl, Phil, Martin. Someone in Doc. Physio?
Yeah.
Or can we get away with that?
Especially with trees running, you need a physio. Just to keep us on the road. So how do you see, just take a general run, so don't take into fact fatigue later in the week, but a general run. How do you see that breaking down?
So I thought about this last night, and I need to do a bit of trial and error with it, but 7 o'clock start.
Yeah.
Right.
We run for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So run for 25 minutes, walk for 5.
Yeah.
Repeat that obviously 6 times.
Okay.
Right, 10 o'clock we stop, and there's some sort of breakfast on for us.
Yeah.
For half an hour.
So Rob got diagnosed in December 2019, and 2 days after him going public, we found ourselves meeting Doddy Weir up in Carlisle. I'd never met Doddy previously. I'd known about his journey, didn't quite understand MND and what it does. But Doddy was more than happy to speak to Rob, and it was a brilliant meeting. A lot of joy, a lot of laughing, and Doddy instilled more fight in Rob. He instilled a different viewpoint, he instilled a different attitude in Rob. He gave him hope. And it was the car journey back where you do what a mate does and says, we're going to try and help. I don't know how best to do it, but the initial thoughts were around his family and ensuring that they had financial security for the rest of their lives. I wanted to try and take that away from his thoughts and take that concern and worry away from him. So we had that inevitable conversation, which was how much do you need? It was a case of me suggesting numbers, and it's not fair for me to share it with anybody, but is this the number? And at that point, we're both pretty teary, and this is December 2019. There was no chance we were going to get that number in 5 or 6 days before Christmas, but I was adamant in my own mind that we'd have that money secured by the following Christmas. I wanted him to be able to wake up with his kids Christmas morning 2020 and not have that concern or worry. It was taken care of, and all he had to concern himself with was watching his kids open the presents. That set off a number of different fundraising events. Some of the old boys put the boots back on, myself included, and that gives a really good start. And then COVID hit, things changed for all of us, and I very quickly realised that we were going to be short, and ultimately that's how the 77 was born. With the view of making 77,777. Yes, Rob's squad number was number 7. I put a message out to a number of friends to see if they fancied getting involved, and instantly they all agreed, and the 77 original team was set up. It was put together in the boot of my car. Originally we planned to run from Murrayfield, which was Doddy. Wanted to thank Doddy for the support he'd given Rob. But due to COVID restrictions, we ended up running 5 in Saddleworth, my home, and 2 in Leeds, which is my rugby home.
Million!
It went crazy, and before long, we were at 2.7 million. So that figure that we wanted to secure for Rob for Christmas morning was absolutely met. And then meant we had a massive amount of money to pass over to the MND Association. From that original 7 in 7, people across the UK have done their own 7 in 7s, which is huge, when you think about the ripple effect of just something we tried to do for a mate. I came out of that glowing and knowing that I didn't quite know what the future was going to be for me, but I knew that I wanted to carry on helping people in any way I could. So not long after that, the thoughts went straight into planning the next one. And I come up with this idea of having been sent an article about Big Dog's Backyard Ultra, which is a run in America which is just over 6k a loop, and every hour on the hour they run that loop. and whatever's left of that hour they get for recovery and rest. I thought to myself, I wonder if we can change this and adjust it from just over 6k to 7k, because 7's our magic number. But can we do it over a day? 7k an hour for 24 hours, you work that out, then you convert it into miles and you end up with 100 miles. So we decided to make it 101 and call it the extra mile. It was my wife Jane who suggested, how far is it from Leicester to Leeds? And given they're the two clubs that I've loved working at, it made sense when I typed that into Google Maps and it was 100 miles. So incredibly, the team grew. It took a lot of preparation, and I think we ended up raising around 2.2 million. And straight away, I wanted to do a third. I thought every great stories are a trilogy and have three. But trying to think what the third could be, trying to then understand how it fit around work, trying to then understand whether we'd get the support again, was a challenge in itself.
What's the objective of this challenge, Kev?
To raise as much awareness and funds as we can.
As a target?
Quite like the idea of 777. It was a big target, it's a big jump from what we've done.
Yeah. Cheers.
And there'll be other charities involved this time. Do you want to explain what we discussed with what we did with the money?
Kev's keen that we do incorporate My Name's Doddy and Stephen Derby Rimmer Foundation, as well as the two that we've already done before.
Very quickly, the team were all in, fancied it, wanted to do it. It fit with the fixture calendar at work. You know, the club said if you're going to have a week, we'd prefer you to have this week, which lo and behold was starting on the morning of Scotland versus the All Blacks, which is 5 years to the day since Doddy walked out with the ball. And then you get to finish at the Rugby League World Cup. So that's how the third one was born. Right, we're going to go from Edinburgh to Old Trafford, and within that there are some key locations we want to stop at or we want to hit. And we wanted to combine 3 sports, Rugby League, Rugby Union and football. The first year was all Rugby League. The second year, when we were going from Leicester Tigers to Leeds Rhinos, that was 2 sports, Rugby and Rugby League. And then the third was trying to bring us full circle to include Stephen Darby, Doddy Weir and Rob Burrow, because that's how the BBC Breakfast coverage started, with those 3 brothers. So in pulling that together, we had Murrayfield, Melrose, Newcastle for Doddy, Headingley for Rob, Bradford City and Valley Parade for Stephen, and then on to Old Trafford. And why Old Trafford? Well, firstly, it was because it's a venue that meant a lot to me and Rob. Rob had some of his greatest days there as a Rhino on that field.
Burrow try! A fantastic Rob Burrow try!
It's a sport where the fans and supporters back people who are in times of need, and they certainly backed Rob, and it felt like a wonderful place to finish with our own people.
Morning. Morning everybody, thanks for coming out. Thank you. Thank you, y'all alright? Yeah. Thank you. You guys not asleep? That's great to see you all, thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, the team picked itself. All friends, all people who cared about what we were trying to do, who understood the big picture in it, all committed and willing to sacrifice some time at home with the family. They were just an unbelievable group of people who really wanted to help. We were in the meeting room the night before we set off, and you could feel some nerves, because ultimately this was the biggest of the 3, and if we hadn't have had that feeling in our bellies, the challenge wouldn't have been big enough, and it needed to test every single part of us.
Right, there's going to be some massive highs along the week, there'll be some lows, there's going to be some banter, there's going to be some people who get cross and angry, and I'll probably be the cranky one as well. So apologies in advance, but at the end of this week, you will all be glowing like the Ready Brett man, because we're going to do something really, really special together. Let's make it the best week of your life,
I knew there was some friendships and relationships that would grow, but I knew at the outset that spending 7 days with people 24/7 is different. I knew we had to try and bring us together very quickly. Thought it was really important that, like a rugby team would, the night before a big game, you get together, you have a bit of a meeting, and then there's a shirt presentation.
Phil D. Like the planning behind this, pulling together the media, generating the interest in it is down to Phil and what he's been able to achieve. And 2 years ago when we set out to do something for Rob, you know, Phil was right at the heart of pushing and generating, and very kindly got BBC Breakfast to support like they did.
It was a great way to introduce everybody properly. It was a nice way to hand over a running vest or a running t-shirt that meant we were part of something, and straight away we all had that number 7 on the back of our shirts.
Chris is the reason I started running. I must have run 20 marathons with him. Obviously did the 7 in 7, and he was one of the first I text. So to get the chance to be able to do it this week, brilliant, pal. So great to have you with us.
Do you need anything? Carl Ogg, who's Doddy's best mate. Funnily enough, he was captain at Leeds Carnegie when I was captain at the Rhinos, and wanted to play a part in the challenge, and it was really great that we had him. Really good character. I knew he'd fit great in the group. Oggy had come to see us the night before and explained that Doddy hadn't been well, and that it was very, very unlikely that he'd be at Murrayfield the following morning, and we all understood, like, health has to come first. Doddy had said to me right from the outset when I told him about what we were doing and asked him if he'd be at the start, he promised me he'd be there. So when Carl broke it to us the night before, there was a very small part of me that thought, he'll show up. And if he hadn't done, I wouldn't have been disappointed at all, because his health had to come first, but a small part of me, I was just like, he'll be here. And lo and behold, the following morning, he turned up.
It's easier than this, man.
All right, Gary? I'm all right. You all right?
The big fella.
Hey, champ. You okay? I didn't think you was going to get out of bed for us. I told you to stay in bed.
It was me that wanted to stay in bed. It was him that
Oh,
insisted on getting
sorry,
up.
Kathy. It's brilliant you've come down. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Meant so much. Big smile, eyes full. Yeah, there was no better send-off for us. There was an unbelievable amount of people there. I think straight away we realised how special it was what we was doing.
I've got your blanket, but I meant to bring it up.
5 o'clock tonight. Where is it?
He's supposed to be navigating now for these next 2 days. Is he going to get us lost?
Wonderful, wonderful. What's your name?
Yeah.
Maury?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he wants to turn it into a pub crawl.
Thank you.
So during the extra mile, to start each 7k section, we brought a bell. And that bell was for a 2-minute warning that told us when we were about to go, but also gave the whole challenge meaning, because we got a story from that M&D community. You know, such and such a body passed away with M&D, and we got a story about them. Oh, we had an M&D sufferer who rang that bell, and we thought it was really significant. We came up with banging the drum. We'd follow suit, and at every location before we set off, we'd get somebody from the M&D community to bang that drum 7 times.
2, 1. Thanks for your support. Thank you. Come on. Right, which way is it?
It's every parent's nightmare to have their child die before them. But I think to have a child die of MND is probably one of the most horrific things you can face. If anyone had met Jody, and I think he had so many friends from all over the world because he was a traveller, he was an adventurer from being a child. And Jody did travel all over the world, from South America, Alaska, and then he decided he was going to live in Australia. So everything sounded wonderful, but in July 2014, he rang me, having just come out from a consultant appointment in Sydney, and it was midday for him, and for me it was midnight. And he said, "Mum, I've got motor neurone disease." And I don't think I'll ever forget that moment when I really felt the world that we knew in our family had ended. When he actually came home, he lost 20 kilos. He couldn't actually swallow food anymore, he was choking. I didn't go back to work because I was the main carer, and I just wished upon anything that a cure would come. Something would come, something that would extend his life, something that would take it all away. Every mother wants to save her child's life, and I feel I failed because I didn't save his life. But it's a fatal disease and there's nothing I could have done.
Motor neurone disease is quite an umbrella term, and there are different types of motor neurone disease. Some are slowly progressive and some, of course, progress quite rapidly. And at the end of the day, this is a life-limiting condition. When we look at the ALS form of motor neurone disease, the life expectancy is quite limited. With time, you can have a weakness of your arms, your legs, weakness with your muscles of your breathing, and for which you may need assisted ventilation. And of course, your speech and swallowing can be affected. And if your swallowing is affected, then you would need help with assisted nutrition as well. It's always a very hard diagnosis to give. There is a lot of information that needs to be given, and it's difficult for patients. It is devastating news. I think the awareness that Rob and Kevin has done has really made a huge change. Very recently, I've had patients coming in saying, "Dr. Jung, I know what to expect. I've got Rob-Burrows disease." So these are conversations that are happening much earlier on in my clinic now. And the earlier diagnosis means that we can support our patients much earlier.
Rob and his family have made a huge and amazing difference to the awareness, because it's a very unfundraised disease. Not many people actually know about it. And Rob has changed the whole view, and everybody needs a friend like Kev. And I think for us, it helps knowing that there's someone there who's really bringing to attention the hell that is MND and what people go through.
Morning. Thanks for coming out, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
So that Sunday morning was a special day. It was an incredible start. Hoggy took control and sort of weaved us through the streets of Edinburgh, which was really nice. The people out on the roads, out on the streets, people in the pyjamas, people running out to see us, old, young, was incredible right from the very start, which took us aback. We thought there might have been a few at the start, but not actually en route coming out of Edinburgh. Who knew who we were or what we were doing? But the messages started to get across.
Thanks for coming out. Thank you. Very, very quickly we found ourselves in the greens of Scotland. Beautiful place, amazing place to run. It was 16 degrees, weren't a cloud in the sky, a blue sky in fact, and we are in November, middle of November. Good work. Right, we've got 10 minutes.
I need to get a quick picture of you with this drum.
Can I give it a bash?
Right, whack it.
What are you feeling? I've seen you had a coffee. What's your...
James is the man. He's a nutritionist, yeah.
What's he got?
I have no teeth.
You'd be alright.
We have no teeth, then we have to go to Turkey for a new set. Would you like to bang the drum for us?
Everyone bang the drum.
Seven bangs, please. Here we go. How are you doing?
Great.
You all right?
How are you getting on?
All right. Who sent this for us?
It's almost like this is Scotland.
Yeah. We'll keep copying that behind. No! Told you, right? Don't blame me. Blame the nutritionist in the van.
So far.
Yeah, it's been really good. Really enjoyable. People have come out and been brilliant, really supportive. As you can see, the weather is for November in Scotland. We didn't expect this. So thankfully someone's looking down on us today, but it's been brilliant. Spirits are high. And yeah, no complaints at all.
I'm downstream when he's... Honestly, it's the worst smell I've ever had.
Well, if you'd have stuck to the programme and had your prebiotic, you'd be the same. But if you deviate...
I'm just holding it in.
Thanks for coming out as well. I think right across the UK now, the MND community understand what a beacon of light Rob has been, but also the amount of people we've met now who've been challenged by MND. There's not a greater gift you can have than to be able to provide hope, and you've seen us banging the drum. That's what it's been all about, keep raising awareness, and hopefully we can keep raising the funds to hopefully find a cure one day. Hey! Thanks everybody. See you soon. Just trot around here and jump in car. Thanks for coming out. So we arrived at Melrose at the end of day one. Didn't quite know what to expect, but there was a massive amount of people at Melrose. Really good day. The crowd's amazing again, isn't it? So it's nice to be at a rugby club. Doddy played here. Carl, who's with us, obviously this was their club, so yeah, really nice finish for us. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Of course you can, yeah. I'm a bit sweaty and smelly, so apologies, all right?
Ready.
The team have been incredible so far. They'll make sure we do the right things now and make sure we fuel up and get enough sleep. But it's only right. There'll be an event on here at Melrose a little bit later on, and it's only right that we'll spend some time with these fantastic people who support us like they have. So I think we're all buzzing. We got the first day done. We did recovery. And we came back down to Melrose later on that evening for a Q&A. Wherever we went, it was important. We spent some time with the communities we were in. That club meant a lot to Doddy. And at the Q&A that evening, Doddy's sister was there. A lot of his friends were there. The team got to rub shoulders with different people from the rugby community in Melrose, and were able to let their hair down and have a pint. And all the way through this, it was the balance between it being a professional event, yet it being a charity event. We were probably in the sweet spot in the middle, which meant I wanted people to have a great time. I wanted people to have a wonderful week, as long as they were able to get up and do what we needed them to do in the morning. It's always interesting after that first day, because
you're still full of apprehension and excitement, still nervous about, can we complete the challenge? Don't sleep much, toss and turn. And we get up the following morning and it's freezing. Like, it's gone from 16 degrees to very, very foggy.
I'll pull the cable down there so that I can get the bikes out.
You have a baby? Yeah, nice.
So you've not trying to?
Yeah, it looked like you kind of till mine was when you were front.
On the front, you don't need to take those.
Whoa, set it on. This isn't that type of massage, pal. I don't know where you've been going. Pants off.
How are you feeling this morning? How did you sleep?
Yeah, I slept really well. I think there was a warthog in my room last night, so...
Does the warthog have a name?
I don't think it's fair to disclose live on TV, but no, it's good company. We had a really good day yesterday. We're all ready to go now. Sorry everybody, can I just thank everyone for coming out this morning. I know it's a little bit chilly today and it's an early start, but thank you, it's much appreciated, alright? It means a lot to us all, so thank you. And see Daddy's sister. Good to see you.
Your best.
Right.
Honestly,
Thank
we're
you.
rooting for you all the
Thank
way
you.
down there.
Thank you.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
We set off and we hit hill after hill after hill.
Crossing to England today, don't we?
Yeah, we do, yeah. Get your passport.
Hello everyone. Thanks for everybody coming out. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not sure about the Wigan shirt, but we'll have to let him off, eh? I'm only kidding, mate. Good on you. Come here. Yeah. You'll be alright. Come on.
Go say Ben.
Hello. Hello. Alright. Come on. Good on you. Come on, Martin. Entertain the group. Come on.
What do you want me to say?
What have you got?
Come on, Flower of Scotland. Let's get it going. Can we all sing along, please?
Yeah.
You all go.
Yes, yeah, looking at them, singing along.
Come on, you roses!
Another 40 miler today, and quite a climber thing, 860 metres or something. That's going to make a difference.
Yeah, we feel like we've done that already.
Maybe you have.
But the Scottish people have been wonderful. We're not far from England now. Beep if you're happy. There we go. Thank you.
Yes.
We look to leave here at 18 minutes. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, fine, yeah. Just at that first stop now. We've done our bit now. I feel alright. The quad's a bit sore, but I don't know if it's from the massage. That's okay. Right, okay, good. Alright. Yeah, thank you. Love you too. Thanks for coming out. Thank you.
Lovely.
Just saying hello.
You're doing
all right.
a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
We saw Doddy yesterday. And
All right.
yeah. But, you know, thanks for what you're doing, Kevin.
No problem.
It's great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming out and seeing us anyway. Yeah, I've heard, yeah. I've heard. This next bit's a bit tasty,
Just
so.
a wee hill. Just a wee hill.
We had an unbelievable climb actually. The hill leading to the border, which we hoped when we got to the top would, when we saw England and ran into England, would be blue skies and sunshine again. It just got thicker fog actually. Yeah, thankfully after we got over that big hill, we did have another long stretch of downhill, but it was a real tough running day, and I think you're always concerned about every little twinge you get whilst you're running, because you know that something can write you off pretty quickly. There's one thing I was concerned about, and that was my Achilles.
How you doing?
All right.
How was the downhill?
My knees are actually pretty good. I think because my quads are taking a load. the sore, but I think the sore as well, because you've ripped in, haven't you?
I'd felt it at the end of the 77, I felt it during the 101. You know, and no matter what prep I had done, I wasn't quite sure what running 40 miles a day would feel like after 5 and 6 days.
Yeah,
It just keeps coming, doesn't it?
yeah, does yeah.
Going up 10 grand between.
You were constantly trying to second guess your body and make sure everything's moving as it should. The team around us, DOS, was brilliant. You know, our hands on all the time, trying to free us up and make sure stuff didn't get too tight or stiff.
Don't blame me, blame him in the van. Hello. Hello.
In Otterburn was a pretty special finish. Steve Cram joined us for the last 800 metres, and there was some irony in that, obviously. But he was brilliant, just like he came and joined us and really wanted to support.
Feel all right?
I love the friend, you're fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Thank you.
Brilliant crowd waiting for us at Otterburn. The whole thing was growing. Yeah. We probably wasn't ready for what was to come in the following days.
I was diagnosed in 2019. The initial symptoms were in my right hand. I went to the doctors in December 2017. I thought it was a golfing injury, so they sent me off for some physio. And then during 2018, what we now know is it had affected my respiratory system. I was sort of very fatigued, I was passing out quite a bit, couldn't work. And then I was sent for cancer tests and heart tests, and eventually, a year later, we got the diagnosis.
So the news was devastating, absolutely. But it is, we are where we are. You live with what you live with through any family, through any couple, through any walk of life. And it's taken a bit of adjustment. The girls themselves have found it quite difficult to adjust. I think because of the nature of the disease, you get used to one change and then something else comes along. So life changes again. And the best way to describe it is you're on this continual journey of loss. So something happens and we know we're not getting things back. So we know that recently Ian's had a fall, so it means that he's been off his legs a little bit. We know that being off his legs means we won't get those legs back. So we know that that's a big change.
I was diagnosed, I guess, 6 or 7 months before Rob's diagnosis was announced. And it seemed a different world to what it is now. And just the awareness now, M&D is in the news. And it's because of Rob and of course Doddy Weir and Stephen as well. But Rob has had such a massive impact. So many different levels, isn't there, with Kevin. When he comes on the TV or you see him, there's that calmness, there's that serenity. You know, he's like the king of the world, isn't he? Without even trying to be, he's just... And he is inspiring. The first challenge that we did, I'd planned to do a walk. I was going to do a walk across the Dales. I was thinking about 20 miles. We were going to try and do this one walk. And I was planning it. And then Kevin did his 7 in 7. I thought, maybe I could do more than one walk. And we came up with 7. And 7 went to 10. And by the time I got 10, I was doing about 50 miles. I thought, I could do 100 miles. And we ended up, that first challenge was 116 miles across the Yorkshire Dales because of Kevin and seeing him do the 7 in 7. And I thought, well, one walk isn't going to cut it, is it? Such a beautiful experience. And I was thinking of planning another one. And it was in the back of my mind, and it was only, and this is Kevin Sinfield's fault again. When we went to head for Kevin's run, and we were there that morning, and of course, Kevin's come in the stadium looking absolutely battered and shattered, and like, oh my God, how can you ever make it up to this guy. How can you ever thank this guy? And the penny just dropped. It just clicked there and then, and the seed was born that I'm going to do Snowdon. And Dr. Jung was at the side of me. And I said, Dr. Jung, I'm going to do Mount Snowdon. And that was the first you'd heard of it confirmed, wasn't it? So we spent since November, planning it, and we've had friends who've filmed it, and we've had friends who've taken photographs of the path, and the ramps built, and we've got the pulley systems and lift systems, and yeah, it's going to be beautiful, but it is definitely Kevin Sinfield's fault. So.
Yeah, we can get over that one. There we go.
Come on, what a team.
Easy. Left, we go left.
What a team, go left, mate, yeah, go left.
It's not just getting the wheelchair up there. You know, Ian will be sat in the wheelchair, but he gets very cold very quickly, and he also overheats very quickly. So having to plan that is a way. His arms don't work as well. They get tired very quickly, so driving the chair. But even, you know, he's on a ventilator for about 16 hours a day. So the walk itself, we think, is going to take somewhere between 9 and 10 hours. So that takes a lot of effort from his respiratory system, and also the altitude plays a part. When you're an able-bodied person, thinking, I'm going to do Snowdon is a challenge in itself. But being in a wheelchair and it taking twice the length of time,
maybe.
And not being able to move on your own, not being able to stand on your own, not being able to walk on your own, you know, that's quite a feat. I haven't got a clue why he came up with this idea, but he did, and he will do it.
We'll do it, it's as simple as
And
that.
he has a great group of friends that make sure that you do it.
I've got it, I think.
Come on, everybody.
Someone get that in. Everybody looking back to me, please, guys. Looking to me.
My patients continue to inspire me. Ian has had immense strength in again, you know, just getting on with the diagnosis, getting on with living, really. I think I was particularly struck by the caption that he had for Snowdon, "What's your mountain?" We all have our own mountains to climb, and I think once you're able to tap into that strength inside, I think, we can all climb our mountains.
What I've found since day one, there's so many people who've got answers or will help you find the answers. You know, whether it's the medics, whether it's the M&D Association, whether it's our friends. There's just this whole groundswell of people who will make sure that we get where we need to get.
Yep.
I'd asked a question about why they'd come to help me with this when they had their own problems. And one of my friends looked at me and said, Ian, we've all got our mountains, mate. It's just easier when we climb them together.
So day 3 was Otterburn to Durham Cricket Club, and straight away we hit a massive hill, which was timed pretty well because it probably let us know, right, we've ran 80 mile last 2 days, we're straight in, and we're thrown straight in at the deep end again, day 3.
That one thought rain comes, is it? You feel it spitting? Yeah.
Then very quickly it started to rain, and it didn't stop. It rained all day. I took great enjoyment in the whole week by having a real mix of some of those dark moments running up hills in rain, but also took humour out of them as well. That was probably the start of the light-hearted humour with Hoggy. You know, he was very quickly into us English guys. As soon as we started to see sheep, for some reason they started to run away when they saw Hoggy, so...
Don't worry, sheep! Hoggy hasn't got his wellies! You're safe today!
I don't believe you!
He's going home tomorrow as well!
He was brilliant for the days we had him with us. Like, we were gutted when he had to go because, you know, he was a fully fledged member of that team and he'd be welcome back at any stage.
Morning! Alright, morning everyone. Thank you.
Group was a bit quieter, I think, I hear this morning so far. Have you been?
We had a steep climb that went for about 7k, so we cheered up when we got to the top of there. And then sort of as soon as Steve joins us and we come here and we've got Jonathan with us, and again, people have come out, it's incredible. So we've stopped for a quick cup of coffee and we'll go again soon.
The thing is, like, for runners to do stuff like this, it doesn't. People go, oh, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's something I've been really conscious of with this, because they look at us and they see this team, they see me as an ex-professional rugby player, they think this comes easy.
Yeah, I know.
And they think that actually this is so scientific, but it's not, Steve, because the minute it goes like a Kipchoge sub 2 hour marathon, right, this is about enjoyment. I want these guys to have the best week of their lives, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a different feel, it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. Really, really enjoyable day. You can smell the bacon on me, can't you? John Dutton's a good friend, came and joined us.
We're not quick, so don't worry.
The weather actually was what we were expecting.
You're perfect playing weather, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Grand finals. Kick long. Yeah, I didn't mind a wet day, John. The weather was actually what I felt would help people dig a little bit deeper in the pockets. People wanted to see us suffer. People wanted to see us in pain. People wanted to see us go into that dark zone. I think when I look back on my playing career, I've been quite happy going in there with the team. I know that might sound like a bit of a strange mentality, like you're putting yourself through pain or sacrificing yourself. But as long as that pain and sacrifice helps somebody or gets you a little bit further down the road, I'm willing to go there and stay in there and keep staying in there and keep staying in there. And thankfully the team we picked were as well, they had exactly the same mindset. Hello. How are you doing? You alright? Yeah. I don't have to thank me. Great to see you, alright?
Brilliant what you're doing.
Alright, yeah?
Pleased to shake your hand, you're a legend.
Thank you. Great to see you both, alright?
Thank you.
Keep fighting, won't you? Keep fighting. Keep fighting. I knew we'd have to dig in. I knew we'd have to probably endure more than I'd ever endured. And probably when you look at rugby players, there's a form of toughness that people associate with aggression or violence on a rugby field, and people ask the question, who's the toughest player you ever played with or played against? They expect you to say someone who was great at fighting or who was really aggressive at times, but actually probably go towards more of those who are just tough mentally, just tough men. Those who are when you're on your own try line and it's absolutely bouncing it down, you're ankle deep in mud. Who wants to take the ball in? The type of guys who I ended up being mates with, and some of that was because I absolutely admired what they did, but I think it rubbed off on me as well. I knew from an early age that I was able to endure things. I had an older brother that beat me up and beat me up and beat me up, but I knew I could endure things and be quite happy being in pain, and I knew I had to tap into that. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. How you doing, mate? Are you doing all right?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out. Thank you.
Well done, mate. Well done.
All right.
Nice and well done.
Thank you.
Not far to go.
No, nearly there now. Nearly there. Thank you. Thank you. Are we loud on?
Okay, can we get Kevin to the dry now, please?
Oh, can we just have a quick game of five-a-side? Is that all right?
Well, it's amazing what you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
But I was just saying to somebody earlier, you know, we've had more than a million people have run the Great North Run. But this is the Great North Run.
Well, thank you. Well, it's great to have your support again.
It's amazing what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you. You coming for a break?
Yeah. Well, why don't you come up next year?
I'd love to. I'd love to.
It's only 30 miles, no problem for you.
We've got the Rob Leeds Marathon in May.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Well, then
and then come do that. That's September.
Yeah.
Turn up early. We were supposed to be at 12:45. You came into the car park at 12:45.
Did we?
Yeah.
There was an old boy shouting at us that coming out because
you put some weight on?
Huh?
You put some weight on?
He wanted to run.
Why are you just so rude with us?
Got
like this all the way.
Talk me through the morning. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been wet and cold, but no complaints at all from me. We just crack on and we fight our way through it.
And the North East finally has made you welcome here.
Oh yeah, I love being up here. The Geordies are fantastic, aren't they? They're full of energy, always a big smile, and love spending time here. Just a quick thank you, everybody. I know we've been in there a little while, and I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but thanks so much for turning out for us today. It means it's a big thing for all of us, and to Rob, Doddy, Stephen, and Ed, and that full M&D community. Miles, this is my vest from this morning. You'll have to give it a wash. It's a bit smelly, and it's soaked with rain, but it's for you. All right? Good luck with everything. All right? Thank you. See you, Rob.
The big thing I can remember about day 3 was coming out of St James's Park and running over the Tyne Weir Bridge. And at that stage, the bridge had pretty much flooded. There were massive puddles, and a big double-decker bus drove past and soaked us all through. You know, one of those comedy moments where the big puddle comes over everybody. And there's moments like that where normally you might lose your mind and start carrying on, but we were like, yeah, bring it on. When's the next puddle? Where's the next one? Where's the next double-decker bus? It was like, that was one of the most enjoyable days when we were drenched, and but it were a bit like, just keep throwing stuff at us, and no matter what obstacle you put in our way, we're going to get it done.
Well done, great work. Well done. Good one, mate. Well done. Awesome, well done, yeah. Stood in a puddle here, cuddling. Oh, stood in a puddle. Well done, yeah, thank you. How was that? Big day, that one. Big day. Brilliant, brilliant. Probably the best day, actually. Funniest. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Incredible human being. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
Little girl has raised 300 quid, she's going to run 1k.
Are you doing all right? Yeah? Say hello? Do you want this? It's a little bit wet. All right? You have to get it put it in the washing machine, and when you do your okay, you can wear it, can't you? All right. Good luck. Right, pal. All right. All right. About that last little bit running up and down that road.
Fucking bored, aren't we?
I knew it was the focal point, and rugby had given me that platform, but I also knew that I had to complete, I had to finish, and I don't know whether anyone else quite felt that pressure, and I'm happy to have that pressure. And I had it during my playing days, and I'm cool with it. In fact, I really enjoyed it, and it's probably the bit I miss. The challenge of going into that dark bit, that I don't think there are that many people who willingly go in there. The challenge of putting myself in there was what made it the challenge, was what made it so fulfilling in the end. It was very, very tough and challenging. But I can sit here and say I loved every minute of it. There were no point during it that I thought, I wish I'm not doing this. And probably 99% of the moments since I finished it, I wished I were back there running.
Here we go.
So day 4 we went from Durham Cricket Club to Stokesley.
Morning. Morning, guys. Morning. You should be in school. You get detention.
That day just seemed like a bit like you're on day 4, so you're about to cross over the halfway point, We're all going into a place we've never been before in terms of, location, but also body-wise. And it were grey and it were miserable, and a lot of the villages we ran through had been ravaged.
Kev, you're actually sweating this morning. I don't think I've seen you sweat so far.
Yeah, it's apologies, I think we're a bit flat this morning.
Well, in sort of 10 miles today, you're halfway.
Yeah, it'll be a big moment for us, that, I'm sure. Sure there'll be some whooping and some celebrating. But yeah, like I said, I think we're a bit flat today. I think day 4 was dark, but we're good now. How are you doing? Nice to meet you. You all right?
I am.
Good.
Thank you.
No, you don't have to thank us. Thank you.
Later, watching the film at home now. About yesterday.
Is that one all right? Are we smiling on that one?
Chat to David. If you would stay for a couple of minutes, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, my son's at MND.
Right, sorry to hear that.
And, David's banging the drum.
Are you banging the drum for us?
I'm banging the drum, eh?
3, 2, 1.
See you all.
Could see how tough some of the towns and villages were that we ran through, yet people kept coming out.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you.
People kept coming out who must have been thinking, how am I going to pay for Christmas? Can I put my eating on at the minute? But coming out with cash to put in the buckets, and it was so humbling for all of us to see it.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Jackie,
Yeah, no problem. Hi, how are you doing? Are you okay? Thank you. Which are you? Which are you?
Well, it's what we need, isn't it? Thank you.
Yeah. Don't have to thank me.
Poor Jackie, it's a bit emotional today, aren't you, Jackie? We all are.
Yeah. Don't you'll set me off. You'll set me off.
Yeah.
I think the Rob Burrows Centre is really important for motor neuron disease. Currently, I break bad news in this room, in this office. And if you were hearing this from me, if I was telling you that you had only about 18 to 24 months, maybe 36 months to live, the least that we can do is to provide an environment in which there is time to debrief. You should be able to go out and sit in a quiet room and gather your thoughts together, but not a cold clinical space. About a decade ago, I had designed the Leeds care delivery model, and I think in that care delivery model, the patient is at the center, and that is what the Rob Burrows Centre will do. It will keep the patient and the family at the center, and when they come in, they will have a peaceful environment to come in, large windows, lots of greenery, not in a cold clinical manner.
When I heard about the Rob Burrows MND Centre, all I thought was, I wish that I'd been there for us. It would have been so amazing. We'd have somewhere to go, that we could go as a family. Jodie could actually have the support in one place. Not we were waiting or going here or going there, or they were coming to us, and we wasted so much precious time going to places or having people come. But if we could have gone to one place and seen the OT and seen the nutritionist and seen the consultant all on one day, and perhaps I could have had psychological support and recognition of the anticipatory grief. Maybe Jodie would have been able to have the type of support where he met other people with MND.
The service that we have at the moment is fabulous. The environment doesn't live up to that. I've never taken my girls. We've never been as a family. To have somewhere that we can go that is an environment that gives a bit of hope, that gives a bit of comfort, that gives support, all in one place when you're having those difficult conversations. I can't put it into words, if I'm honest.
You've got families going to 3, 4, 5 different hospitals, different clinics across the region. I go to one for my ventilation, I go to a different one for blood tests, I go to a different one to see somebody else. And to have all of that expertise in one place, in a place that has got a sense of hope and dignity. You want to be treated with dignity, we're insulated in some ways from it because we've got each other, we've got a family, we've got a lot of brilliant friends who are always there for us. Some people that face this news don't have that. You know, and some people are isolated, or they're lonely, or they're on their own, and you know, so that's an even more difficult message to deliver. And you need to be able to do that in a place of hope.
Well done, pal. Well done. How's the grind? Go on, Pete, gonna sit in.
I've got a mate who's a big Middlesbrough fan. So I'll
How long are you here for?
20 minutes, roughly.
A1, M62.
Just go straight down it. Can we go via Leeds Bradford and go straight through airport as well?
Sure,
We'll go down runway, we might as well. We'll run straight down the middle of the motorway, Ben.
You know what, Ben? They're complaining they're going down non-roads, and then they're complaining the roads are too busy. It's like you can't win.
It's a dirt track covered in dog shit and horse manure, and then we're in the middle of a motorway.
Two ends of the spectrum.
I know. You try to kill us.
No, it's
one more, another. You try to kill us.
Shit,
just this left shin.
It's getting tight.
They're all right, but everything's tired, mate. Really.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, pop in your front. How long does that give?
Oh, you don't want to see this. I don't want to see this.
Show me yourselves, close your eyes.
I'll never live up to suits,
A tough block, that.
And for those who kind of aren't, aware of where the money's going to, can you tell us just a little bit about what it's being raised for and why it's so personal to you?
Yeah, it's been raised for 5 different M&D charities. The main ones being the Motor Neurone Disease Association, and the other one, the Leeds Hospital Charities. And the Leeds Hospital Charity is...
1, 2, 3.
Martin, doing an interview.
Proceed, Your Honour.
Philly, you doing a timer?
Yeah. I'm going to go down here, me like ball boy.
Come on, Tony Pulis.
You mean captain?
Get out for a roll.
Take it.
Take him quick. The sniper.
Back there, I lie there like they're taking a free kick.
Great work. Well done, Tony.
Come on, big man. I'm injured. Come on, big man.
Are you okay?
So after we left the Riverside, which had been a really, really grey, tough, enduring day, it started to open up and we see a bit of greenery. And we head into Stokesley, and I think on this particular day, for whatever reason, we're a little bit early again. And we arrive there at the football club, and there's a real big crowd in the car park.
Great, pal, well done. Great effort.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll see some in the morning.
And you get to see everybody and speak to everybody, and then very, very quickly we jump inside to do recovery, get some work done with DOS, and also jump in the ice bath.
Hi, Kev.
How are you doing? All right?
Chris from Sky.
Yep.
Yeah. You good?
I'm good, thank you, yeah.
You coming with me first? Wasn't going to know. I thought we were doing this last time.
I think you need to reword that, by the way. I hope you weren't filming then.
No, but we were.
Finish it on me, yeah.
Whoa, steady on. 1 minute.
2 minutes.
Sorry, we've been away 4 days. This is how it is now. The amount of families and teary-eyed people we've met who have lost family members who are being challenged by MND at the moment. You wouldn't believe the numbers of people we've met, and that awareness is key, because we don't want people to be ashamed to tell people they've got MND. We don't want people to be locked away in the houses and not want to come out and face the world. We want people to be proud and know that this MND community is really strong.
Phil came in and said, you're probably going to need to come outside again. And I went, yeah, no problem, I'll be ready in a few minutes. I'm just getting straight. He went, no, the crowd's tripled. Like, there's an unbelievable amount of people out here. And I was like, yeah, no worries, just give us a couple of minutes. Finished off getting showered and dry, and came out, and just as I walked out the front door, somebody said to me, there's a box out there and a microphone.
And there's a microphone.
Crossway. Yeah.
Do I need a microphone? There's that many people there?
And I got there and I couldn't believe the amount of people that were there.
All right, thank you. There we go. Oh.
And I climbed on this box and I could just see rows and rows and rows of people.
I didn't realise I were going to end up doing a speech today, so I haven't prepared anything, all right? So we've just been in the ice bath. But what I would say to you is, I think you all understand and get what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do here. Yeah, we're trying to connect, well, it's ended up being 4 brothers now, but when we set out on this journey, we're trying to connect 3 brothers, Doddy Weir, Rob Burrow and Stephen Darby. The reason why we had to go ultras is because it had to be bigger than the last 2, and to make a difference and get some awareness and get people to understand what this disease is doing to families across the UK and across the world. We've got to try and change it, and don't ask any of you to run 7 ultras at all. But there's a but in this. If we can all just do a little bit for the person next to you, we'll have a far better place to live in. So I hope to see you all here in the morning, and thank you very much, all right?
I never expected when we set out that at any point would I be stood on a box with a microphone in my hand, speaking to people and ensuring they understood what we were trying to do. And they did. They did. And that made me really proud, the fact that people understood what we're doing, why we're doing it.
I've lost my husband a year ago.
All right, really sorry to hear. Yeah, all right. Stay strong,
got to 50. But stay with him.
Yeah.
So day 5 was the toughest day. And it was the toughest day for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it was 72 kilometres, and it's a long run. It absolutely bounced it down all day. But we got a bit of a morale boost at the start. Jamie Peacock joined us, one of those warriors I referred to before, who would take the ball in off our own try line. He was there, and then 3 friends from Leicester, Aled, Matty and Will. Between the 4 of them just brought a different energy, brought some humour, and was just brilliant to have with us.
Yesterday where we set off there, about 400 people there.
It's amazing, that. Changing lives, mate. That's what you're doing.
JP did the full day, as I knew he would. Just got on, happy to sit in that horrible dark zone and endure the pain.
Yeah, we are bringing the trenches together, like playing together. But yeah, it's just great to be out here supporting him and just what he's doing, just absolutely incredible. Just I'm glad to do a little bit of it with him.
It's weird, isn't it? It's starting emotional, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Miss sharing the kid, pal. So it's a big commitment from everyone to be away from families. I know it's worth it. But we've got a brilliant team. But it's hard. It's hard because I've done something like this and I'm that tired. You just want to cuddle. Just want to make sure everything's all right. You know what I mean?
I'll cover you, but I'm not covering you.
The beauty of me knowing all the team pretty well is I have a good understanding of who, what and when. I know myself, I know that when I'm tired and hungry, you know, from time to time, I will get agitated, I can lose my temper.
You're testing us well, aren't you, underfoot?
I will, can't you?
Pardon? Yeah, I want it to be tough, yeah, I just don't want to break an ankle while I'm running down.
Yes.
Do you see how deep the puddles were?
I don't make an excuse for that because that probably helps me get through. But at times, I think a group, needs to have that challenge as well. So the night before we set off, you know, I made the point, look, we were together for 7 days, 24/7. So we've got to be really tolerant of each other and understand that if someone has a quiet moment or someone gets fired up, that they don't mean it. And actually, as soon as we can, we fix it up. A bit like what happens on a rugby field. There's times on a field where people in their own team have disagreements and discussions and fire up and get stuff wrong. In some cases, get stuff right. But as long as the minute you cross over that white line and your mates, and you're able to go, I was just trying to do the best for the team, then I think the best teams have that. We stopped at a garden centre. That was the first location, which were rammed. Like, we couldn't believe how busy it was. And then the second stop was some stables. And I'd had the plan every day. I knew exactly the numbers, how far, the distance between locations, how long the stops were going to be. And I knew I'd broke everything down, so I knew exactly where we were at. And the stables should have been in a position where we hit, and they weren't.
Will you ring Phil and ask him where the stop is? Don't say it's around this next corner.
We were 4K out, but we're drenched, we're cold. Best part of an half marathon still to run. We've been on our feet 6 hours or something, 7 hours. And we've run into the stables, which seemed like a mirage actually, because every time we went around a corner it was like we're seeing a post. Is that the stables? And we go around another corner, no it's not. Is that the stables? No it's not. And yeah, we got there and Jane, Erin and Alex, Chris and Dave's wife and Jane, my own wife, were waiting for us. We didn't know they'd be there. Yeah, we didn't know they'd be there. It was a really nice moment for all three of us. You know, when you put all that prep in and you get to the point where you're on day 5 and you're in touching distance, albeit 20k from York, but you're in touching distance of finishing. But all that prep that had gone in, you know, the 3 months before where every opportunity was out running and sacrificed so much at home that stop with our wives was a massive morale boost. That last 20k into York went very, very quickly. It rained harder after we left the stables. It just started to get dark and the streets started to get full. You know, out of all the places we went, running into York, I could never have imagined we'd get a response like that. The Christmas lights were on, it was dark, and that centre bit outside the Minster was just full.
I just want to thank everybody. You've made this really, really special for all of us. It's something we remember for the rest of our lives. I think you know why we're here. We're all trying to do something positive for the MND community and our little mate Rob Burrow. I can't thank you enough.
Just having that flag bearer, that person at the head of this, it's changed the narrative, it's changed the feeling. There's so much optimism. He's inspired a whole movement and a whole community of people.
bit smelly, a bit wet. I feel all right.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Well done, Kev.
Thank you.
Well done. You're an absolute inspiration, mate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look after yourself. Look after yourself.
Thank you.
See you soon.
For the whole team to see that was the moment we all went, wow, this is an unbelievable week.
Did you expect the crowd like this?
No, that's unreal. I've never seen anything like it. It's like winning a grand final. Like, never seen anything like it. And I know Rob, Doddy, Stephen and Edel and that MND community will be looking at the pictures from this today and will be smiling. And I hope that our team are making them proud.
We had this mad, intense environment at the Rhinos, and Kev demanded that environment. So you're all looking at him running these crazy challenges right now, and the mental fortitude that requires. Well, he was like that every day. So he didn't run a marathon every day, but everything that he applied his mind to and his body to, he did it to the highest of human echelons. So it doesn't surprise me when he says he's going to do these challenges, and he does them exceptionally well. It doesn't surprise me that he absolutely nails it every time.
And you've done some challenges as well, Jeremy, and you are running all the way from here to...
Later that evening, we went to do an event in York, which was a friend of mine had asked if he could put it on, and it meant a combination of doing a number of question and answers. A couple of the sponsors on the vest were there. 42% of the funds raised will go towards bringing alive the Rob Burrow Centre for MND, which will be in Leeds. We visited the site with Rob. For the team at the time, they were quite tough to go to some of these events because people are tired and people wanted some downtime, but actually understood why we're going and what we're doing, and we did 3 of these during the week. And this particular night, we raised 77 grand. The Leeds Marathon, the Rob Burrow Leeds Marathon, it's been a bit of a dream of mine since we did the 7-in-7. I never thought we'd get it off the ground. I went to a meeting and they sat in front of us and told me that there wasn't an appetite for a marathon in Leeds. There hadn't been a marathon in Leeds for 20 years, but I was told there isn't an appetite. You'll struggle to get 2,500 people. You might get 3 if you're lucky. And if this fails, it's going to cost you 350 grand. I'm delighted to tell you all that next week it will be announced. I'm not supposed to tell you, so Chatham House rules, it can't release rude, right? There's just short of 10,000 people signed up to do that marathon. We can't keep doing these challenges year on year, right? But the marathon gives us that legacy. The marathon gives us something to, hopefully, if it's a success, something we can go after year, and I'll continue to run it every year, and hopefully some of the guys will, and we make sure he's remembered forever. We ran out of York day 6 and knew that we had a wonderful day in front of us.
Support's been amazing, right from minute 1 to where we are now, and I'm sure it will continue to grow as we get to Headingley. Real special day, spiritual home for both of us, so looking forward to seeing Rob later.
I could feel myself during that day in particular kept welling up, and you're tired and your mind's jumping around from different places. Maybe think about family, think about my kids. You think about getting it done, you think about how hopefully the money's ticking over and we might be making a difference and we might actually be inspiring people to go and do their own little bits. So when we hit Headingley, it was a really special moment. Great to see that big smile.
Alright. Sorry I'm all sweaty and I smell alright. We've just been playing Michael Jackson coming in. But we're alright. I love you, pal, alright? It's been incredible since we set off in Edinburgh, and it keeps getting better and better. It's great to be almost home, but you know what I mean, my rugby home.
We love you, Kev. We love you.
No, it's all right. I know you're all stood side to side with us, just like we tried to do for Rob, Lindsay and the family. Our team can't thank you enough. The support, the awareness we've created, the money we've raised. We'll find a cure for this disease, all right? I don't know when, but we all keep fighting together. We'll get there. Thank you everybody for coming today. Thanks for your support. One more day to go.
Kevin Sinfield has not just transcended the sport of rugby league, he's transcended the nation. What I once got told that the quality of a leader depends on how many people will follow him. Well, if you look at his closest friends have been following him from minute one, and the whole nation has got behind him and raised so much money for a cause like M&D, which is so important.
I'll text you later on. I'm okay, mate, just so you know. Quad's a bit tight, Achilles a bit sore, but only started hurting today. But I'm all right, mate. We'll get it done, all right? We left Headingley and headed on up to Valley Parade. And actually on the way we had a brief stop, and lo and behold, my mum and dad were there.
All right.
Hey, look.
Yeah. Keep going, huh?
Hiya.
It was really nice to see them. And then we moved on there, you know, the last couple of Ks into Bradford, and it's probably the only time I've been into Bradford and not been booed, so yeah, that was really nice to run to Valley Parade.
Hold on, Tom. Hold on, mate. Thanks for letting me do that. Great to have you
and to get to see Stephen. Stephen and his family were there.
Hiya, mate.
Makes it all worthwhile. Those little moments, moments when you're looking in Doddy or Rob or Stephen's eyes, or all those people we met along the route with M&D, the minute you look in their eyes and you know what it means, and that's so powerful for all of us and absolutely spurred us on.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Thank you. I'm not sure if this is on, so if it is, give me a thumbs up, please. If not, I'm just going to throw it away.
Sound like it is.
I can tell we're in Bradford because the mics don't work. On behalf of all our team, I just want to thank you wherever we've been welcomed with open arms. We've had a wonderful 6 days, we've got one to go. There's some tired bodies here, there's some guys who put themselves through it. There's some team members that have gone above and beyond. We'll go and recover and rest up. I hope to see somebody here in the morning to set us off. We're going to fight, we're going to scrap, but we will be at Old Trafford tomorrow. Thank you.
here the last day. Set off from Valley Parade. It was really nice. Some of the Bradford Bulls boys came down to see us off as well.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a bit on today, holding us together.
I thought I saw a bit sticking out your knee yesterday that shouldn't have
Yeah,
been there.
Thank you for everything you've done, Sweet. See you soon. Well done. Right, let's go. Yeah.
To do the honours. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off.
The streets were lined through Bradford and especially into Halifax. We couldn't believe it. It was like just incredible.
Hey, what you've done. Yeah, it's all of us,
It was by far the busiest day. It was just like mind-blowing to think that people were coming out to see us and support us. We had the big climb out of Halifax towards Saddleworth, and along that route we met a guy who'd not come out of his house for a couple of years because he'd had MND and he was on breathing apparatus.
Hello, mate. I'm just coming saying hello, all right? We can't stop for long, but I hope you're all right, all right? Yeah, keep fighting, won't you? Yeah? Thank you. Thank you.
I'd seen right at the outset when Rob got diagnosed, I know a lot of MND sufferers and families had been made to feel ashamed, which is horrific. But this guy wanted to come out and see us.
You don't owe me anything, mate. You don't owe me anything. You keep fighting, all right? All right? See you guys.
It were those little moments that absolutely just kept us going. And we hit the Ram's Head and a load of family and friends were there. And I knew Paul Scholes was joining us there.
Come on, Jim.
Yeah. I'm a bit busted, but I might. We've got to finish it. We have to finish it.
I did have some niggles. There were some bits that were going wrong. And Achilles was giving me some real jip. My quad, I couldn't bend my knee, but I knew we were in touching distance. We head out of the Ram's Head and continued to climb to the highest point in Oldham. Again, more family and friends. We ran down there near the amateur club I played at as a kid.
Nice to be home. Oh, isn't it? Yeah. Oldham's done us proud. Hasn't it? Cheers, guys.
And then we headed into Manchester.
Thank you.
The bar was rammed, and that bit, I think it was about 4 kilometres. It was really nice because I knew we'd done it. And I knew no matter what happened body-wise, I was going to get there. And I knew by the time we reached Hotel Football, which was where we were going to be waiting until we entered the stadium, the team would have achieved something incredible. That actually right at the start was a challenge, but I suppose in many ways it were a dream as well that we get to the end. I'm so glad to make it there with every single one of that team, with everyone a part of it, with everyone happy and so happy to get there. It's been the best week. So we arrive at Hotel Football and I'm conscious it's the last moment we're all together as one, and I know they were going to enter Old Trafford and come down the tunnel together. But very quickly after that, things change because we get family, we get friends join us, and we all go our separate ways.
Just want to thank you all. This is the best team I've ever been in. Dave and Chris, you've been unbelievable this week. Right, to get here and to push like you have, and drive and run in front at times and do it tough. You've been amazing. I've loved running with you both. But everyone in this team has played such a huge part in getting us here today. Right, and think a minute, there's 1.3 million been raised so far, and that is only going to go and go and go. What we've done this week, right, you might never ever do anything like this for the rest of your life. But what we'll say to you is, right, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. And every time you see each person in this room now, wherever we are, you'll have an unbelievable bond. And you know we've done something special together. I know I started the week by saying, I hope we have the best week of our lives. I can stand there and say, yeah, well, I have. I hope you guys have too.
I've got from start to finish with more laughing I've ever done in a week, with more enjoyment than I've ever done in a week. I've been involved in some absolutely brilliant and wonderful teams, but never as a team come together for a cause like this. Never as a team come together and been able to help a community and provide hope to a community. The areas and locations we went to and the route we went down, it gave the people who live there a chance to show how much they care for that community, and they did. And I hope every single one of that MND community across the UK and worldwide understand that. People in the UK care about people who are less off than them and who need help. And the thing I'm most proud of throughout the whole of the week is we gave that community hope again.
Kevin, you have done 7 ultra marathons in 7 days. You said you were just going for a run for a mate. What kept you going?
That exact thought. It's all about friendship and love for Rob. I know that everybody feels the same way that I do about Rob Burrow. He's an absolute champion, the way the Burrow family have been so courageous and brave. We've met some incredible people along the journey from Edinburgh. But there's one thing for sure, that our country cares. It cares about people who need help. And that MND community need us. They need support, they need love, and we've got to find a cure. And I can't thank people enough for the support along the sidelines, but for voting with the money as well. To be here tonight is incredibly special for our team. Can't thank people enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation.
Yeah, it was certainly one of the best moments I've ever experienced in a team, if not the best. Very quickly back in work and you're back into doing what you did before. As you sort of reflect on the week, the stories we heard along the week are the bits that I really remember. They're the bits that stick with me. And you know, I sit here today absolutely gutted that we lost Doddy. He's campaigned tirelessly for 6 years and fought and fought and fought, and the MND community lost its big brother. I'd be eternally grateful for that first meeting with Rob. The way he gave Rob hope, the support he's given Rob throughout this, our friendship. You know, he'll leave a massive hole, not only in his own family with Kathy and the boys and everybody up in Scotland, but that full MND community has lost an unbelievable man. But I think Doddy'd be really disappointed if we stop the fight now. We have to continue. We have to keep banging that drum and ensure that this community is looked after properly, but also that we find a cure. I always said the trilogy would be the final. Every great story has a trilogy. Every great film collection is a trilogy. It's been a wonderful 2 years, pulling the 3 challenges together. What I would say is, though, of all the Rocky films, my favourite is probably Rocky IV.
Mist-covered mountains around now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your